Hi, this is Dr. Roof. Welcome to the first of a series of brief podcasts on special education law. The purpose of this podcast is to guide you to an understanding as to why laws to protect persons with disabilities were necessary. Securing basic civil rights for persons with disabilities, including the opportunity for a free and appropriate public education in the least restrictive environment, evolved very slowly in the United States. What today are seen as fundamental rights for persons with disabilities did not always exist. For many years, the civil rights of persons with disabilities were routinely denied. Persons with disabilities were denied access to employment, to education, and to public transportation. Persons with disabilities' freedom of movement was restricted and was even prevented, as curb cuts, until fairly recently, were not required and did not exist. While societal attitudes and the resulting expectations for persons with disabilities were very low in the 19th century and earlier, they remained low into the middle of the 20th century. In the 1960s and even later, parents of newborns with disabilities were routinely advised by their doctors to institutionalize their babies, advising them not to bring them home and from the hospital, and not to develop bonds with them. Camarillo State Hospital, now transformed into CSU Channel Islands, was one of a series of state mental hospitals that existed in California that housed both persons with mental illness as well as persons with developmental disabilities, including persons with autism, even persons with high-functioning autism. Excluding persons with disabilities from opportunities to work, from attending a movie at a local theater, or from the free and appropriate public education entitled to other citizens was considered normal into the mid-20th century. Stop the podcast now and listen to how Lisa Carl just wanted to see a movie in 1988, and how Robert Bergdorf Jr. just wanted to follow in his father's footsteps by entering a work-sponsored program that allowed sons to work alongside their fathers. These incidents occurred between 1968 and 1988. On the discussion page of PolyLearn, please complete the following activities. Contribute one post to the discussion group, Attitudes Toward Disability, relating an event that occurred in your lifetime, illustrating a violation of civil rights similar to those experienced by Lisa Carl or Robert Bergdorf Jr., or contribute a post describing an example of advocacy on the part of a person or group working on the behalf of a group or an individual being treated in a disenfranchised way. The posts can relate to disability, but they can also relate to the rights of other groups as well, for example, LGBT or persons of color. 2. Respond thoughtfully to one posting of a fellow class member. And 3. Come to class ready to contribute to a discussion on a teacher's role in promoting social justice and equality for all students in a school. What are issues of social justice that face today's teachers, and how can they, teachers, be advocates for social justice in their classrooms, in their schools, and in their communities? Thanks so much for attending to this podcast.